What's up, peoples? We're plowing through this Halloween franchise review. Finally, we're up to Halloween H20. Or is it Halloween H20? Whatever, I'm calling it H20. Let's review this bad boy.
4 students are about to learn
Whoever you think I am.
their teacher's terrifying secret.
Who is that? My brother. Michael!
Critics call Halloween H20 sensational. Smart and non-stop scary, Jamie Lee Curtis makes a triumphant return. Finally, a sequel that lives up to the original. Halloween H20.
Halloween H20 came out in 1998, and they basically scrapped the storylines of Halloween's 3 through 6 and instead pick up the Laurie Strode storyline. 20 years later, we find her having changed her identity, moved across the country, and she became the headmistress of a very secure, secluded private school in somewhere in California. She's basically so psychologically damaged from the events that happened in 1978 that she's become an alcoholic. She takes a tons of medication, and she pretty much lives in a state of fear at all times.
Hoping and praying every year that her brother won't find her.
You're telling me the truth?
Now do you want a drink?
Halloween H20 is fairly universally liked by most Halloween fans, but there are some people that dislike it. The most common complaints I hear cited are the fact that, you know, the storyline from Halloween's 4 through 6 was scrapped. For me, that doesn't bother me at all, because I care about the Laurie Strode storyline. That's the storyline I care about. That's where it all started. I'd like to see a continuation of that and a conclusion to that. The other complaint that I hear most often about Halloween H20 from the few people that dislike the movie is that it's got too much of like a Scream vibe to it. Too much of the 90s slasher vibe going on that Scream kind of introduced to the slasher world. And again, that just doesn't bother me. I think they did it really well in H20. I think they took that formula and pushed it even further. They brought a little bit of the Halloween elements into the kind of Scream formula, the 90s slasher formula, if you will. So as director of this movie, we got Steve Miner, who you may know is a very well-known director of a bunch of great horror movies, not the least being Friday the 13th 2 and 3. You can see that he's got a little in-joke in Halloween H20 where he's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt wearing a hockey mask. That's his little reference to Friday 3, which is where the Jason hockey mask was introduced. And Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, is back. It's my understanding that she actually commissioned this movie. It might not have ever been made if it wasn't for Jamie Lee. She said, you know what, it's been almost 20 years, let's do an anniversary movie. And Halloween is the movie that set off her career, so she always has, you know, she owes that movie and that franchise basically her whole career. And for someone that has to live in this kind of a shadow of Halloween her whole life where she can't really escape it, she's done a bunch of great movies over the course of her career, but everything always comes back to Halloween. And instead of trying to disown that or distance herself, she embraces it. She's like, yes, this movie made me. I love it. It's a great movie. Let's do an anniversary film. And so that's how Halloween H20 came about. And so thank you, Jamie Lee, for, you know, sticking with us and not, you know, disowning the franchise. You actually own it and you love it and you're great to the fans. And so thanks a lot for sticking with us and giving us at least 3 great Halloween movies. So yeah, I really like Halloween H20 a lot. If there's anything that I can complain about, I'd say some of the music, I wasn't expecting it to be different music. I was totally just thinking they would have, you know, the typical traditional Halloween score throughout the whole thing. And then there was times when the music was different, more modern, and at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but since then it's grown on me. My biggest complaint would be the mask. They had major mask issues on this movie. The first one that Steve Miner wanted to use just doesn't do it for me. I don't know really what he was thinking. I guess he was trying to make it his own, but the original H20 mask is just a little too smooth and plain for me. And then, you know, they went through 3 or 4 different masks during the filming of the movie. The one that you can see the most is a little bit better. I think really my only complaint about the mask that's used the most in the movie is Michael's fro. He's got like a little fro going on, and that's just weird. It looks funny. But yeah, if you watch the movie closely, you can definitely see 2 or 3 different masks used throughout the movie. I didn't notice it the first few times I watched, but then I started looking closer, and you can definitely see it. It's like, oh, that's a different one. That one's different. That's the original, and that's the new one. And then, of course, we've got the infamous CGI mask, which is just terrible. They should have just, I don't know what they should have done. Just reshot that scene, I guess. But yeah, the CGI mask looks pretty terrible. So let's talk about the infamous end of Halloween H20. The best ending to a horror movie maybe ever. So here's the deal, right? When I was watching this movie for the first time in the theater, we get to the end where Michael's pinned by the van and Jamie Lee Curtis picks up the axe and she walks over to him. Now, she's got the axe in her hand. He's pinned. You would think that I would have figured out what was about to happen. Not at all. See, here's the reason why. Every one of these fucking horror movies always ends the same. Oh, the victim beat the bad guy. We think he's dead. They walk away and then his hand twitches or his eyes open. It's always something. Oh shit, he's still alive. There's gonna be a sequel. Every fucking time. So that's absolutely what I expected when at the end of Halloween H2O, I was like, he's gonna slump over. She's going to be like, okay, he's dead, and walk away. And then, his hand will twitch or his eyes will open or what the fuck ever. 100% absolutely expected that. And then, BAM! Dude, Jamie Lee just so swiftly and so fucking elegantly just chops his head off. And next thing I know, Michael Myers' head is rolling on the ground. And I was fucking blown away in the theater. I was like, holy shit. Are you fucking serious? They just ended the franchise. Like the best way ever. I had to start applauding. And I know there's people who are like, applauding in a theater is so gay. You know what? F you. That was the best fucking thing I ever saw. So I was like, yeah. Yes. They totally earned my respect at that moment. I was like, they just ended the franchise. That's so... And they did it in such a fucking ballsy way. They were like, it was like the definitive, this shit is over. His head's chopped off. He's done. No more. I was so impressed. I was so happy. It was awesome. And then they ruined that, didn't they? They had the best ending to a franchise, I think, ever. And they fucking ruined it. We'll get to that in the next review. Really, those are my only complaints. I like Halloween H2O a lot. So, I'm going to give it... I think it deserves 3 stars. I'm going to bump it up to 3.5 because it's just a special film in my heart, considering it was the first time I had ever seen one of these movies in the theater, and it was Jamie Lee Curtis is back, They attempted to end the franchise. Like, that's awesome. That took balls, so that earns an extra half a star for me. 3.5 out of 5 for Halloween H2O.
Ingenious.